Good morning, everyone. It's about 10:39 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, October 11th, 2015. I'm weather forecaster Eric Drewitz with Weather International, and currently it looks like temperatures across the northeastern United States are mostly in the 50s, with some isolated middle to upper 40s around central Pennsylvania, northern New England, um, Quebec province, and a couple spots in Ohio and West Virginia, as well as a couple areas of low 60s around St. Catharines and southern Ontario province. And now looking into some current satellite imagery, clear skies for most of the Midwestern states and the Northeast, except for northern New England up here in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. Um, it looks like there's a high pressure system currently located over the region based on the satellite imagery due to the clockwise flow of the clouds around this high and clockwise spin here, as you can see in the middle, as well as clear skies for most of the area. And then over here, it looks like there's a disturbance around the northern Rockies getting into northern plains, and actually the National Weather Service issued high wind warnings for these areas. I'll speak about that later, but there's going to be a very strong pressure gradient and cold air advection, so high winds are going to be very favorable over this part of the nation. And currently with the 500 millibar pattern, this is the 12Z GFS analysis. It looks like we have a bit of a trough along the eastern seaboard on the due to this upper level low right here, and it looks like there's a decent upper level low here at right off the coast of Baja California, as well as you can see there's a little bit of a trough here in the jet stream with high winds. So this area again is going to have very strong winds this today and for the beginning of this week. Looking at the current NAO index, the NAO right now is pretty much around 0, and it looks like towards the end of October 16th, this is Friday this week, the NAO shall start showing very negative signals towards next weekend. And I'm getting into this is actually forecast for next weekend, because next weekend could be the first freeze for the northeastern United States. And then the PNA right now is about 2.5, so it's fairly positive, values of plus 2.5, but it looks like it should again have another spike into next weekend right after Friday, which I've been looking at 500 millibar patterns for the weekend. Towards the weekend, it looks like there's going to be a major ridge in the west, trough in the east, so that could probably correspond with this PNA, as well as biases in the models. Right now, the European, based on the biases that you would see maybe in like a textbook or something, the European will you would think the European will have a better forecast, because the PNA index is very high and the NAO index is about 0. So anyway, getting into the PDO now, this is the Pacific Decadal Oscillation, and as you can see, it's been positive for pretty much all of 2015. And that means there was warmer than normal temperature anomalies off the coast of Alaska, and that will create a more of a ridge over the Pacific and western United States, and more troughiness in the east. So yeah, this is your 500 millibar pattern GFS 6Z GFS. And as you see right now, this is for 0Z Monday. You have a pretty strong upper level low here over the northern plains and into northeastern Montana, and you have a large height gradient, so the winds are going to be fairly strong. And then this system moves into the east towards the middle of the week. This is 0Z Wednesday. And then it looks like a trough will kind of persist in the east with pulses of upper level energy coming out of Canada. And then you'll see raging building in the west, which probably corresponds to that positive PNA indices that are forecast for this weekend. Yeah, this is 0Z Sunday, and as you see, we have strong ridging in the west. I mean, we have 582 decameters coming out here, and it's now getting to be almost middle October, so that seems pretty significant. As well as we have Troughiness in the east. 552 lines south of Oswego, 546 lines getting close to us. And now the ECMWF. This is the 0Z run, and again it shows that upper level system moving into the east is with pulses of upper level energy to follow, and then towards the end of the week you'll see that ridging really taking place over the western U.S. and troughiness in the east, and the European actually looks like it might be even colder than the GFS was. This is 0Z Sunday and 546 lines now over Oswego, when the GFS had the 552 line much closer to us. Now getting into looking at the propagation of the highs and the lows. Talking about that wind real quick. As you see here, this is that low pressure system. This is for 18Z today, and there's very strong pressure gradients over Montana and getting into the northern plains. So National Weather Service issued high wind warnings for these areas, and even more so the geography of this area with lots of mountains could really amplify winds in different locations, various locations. And there's going to be strong winds now. This is 12Z Monday morning. There's going to be very strong winds here in northeastern North Dakota into northwestern Minnesota, and the very strong cold air advection in these regions. Now looking at the 850 millibar winds for the Northeastern U.S. This is the current initial analysis, GFS European, 60 GFS 0Z European, and looking ahead in the week, looks like we have it doesn't print out for that hour, but it looks like based on the GFS we have a frontal system coming through. Looks like a cold front, because the winds are going to shift from kind of a southwesterly flow here at 850 to more of eventually a northwesterly northerly flow. So we're going to have a very strong cold air advection entering our region, and then moving later into the week. This is for 12Z Saturday. We have this 850 millibar low here in northern New England, and we're gonna have strong cold air advection on the backside. This is now 0Z Monday, and as you see, 850 millibar temps are like down to -5 according to the European, and the GFS is even colder, having areas in northern New York down to -10 degrees Celsius. So looking at the 2 meter temperature anomalies, GFS 60 GFS 0Z European, getting into this weekend, we have very cold anomalies over the northeast. GFS is even showing some areas of 30 degree temperature anomalies down here, or 30s. So that seems fairly significant with the purples down there. Now moving along here to let's see, what did I want to show? Yeah, I guess I'll show this for now. We have this is the 850 millibar winds. I like tropical tidbits is representation of temperatures. This is GFS, and as you see this weekend, GFS is bringing some real cold air down into the northeastern United States at 850. Temperatures in some locations could be below -10 degrees Celsius at 850 millibars, with winds out of the northwest. So real strong cold air advection taking place, but it looks like it should be short-lived. But then happen again. And then European showing this is 0Z Sunday again, winds out of northwest, cold air off -5 to -10 Celsius, and then that cold air advection should depart towards the middle of next the following week. Now looking at your ensembles, 500 millibar height anomalies to finish off here. This is the EPS, or the European Ensemble. And towards the weekend, you can see that ridge. This is 0Z Sunday. That ridge really amplifying across the west with that trough in the east. So you're going to have colder than normal temperature anomalies in the east, warmer than normal in the west for this period. And now this is again 0Z Sunday. We have real cold anomalies, real low heights anomalies in the east. So all these models, let's look at the EPS. All these models are looking to be in agreement, these ensembles. So yeah, we have looks like we could have a cold weekend for next weekend. Let's look at a couple. The value in them right now is not much, considering it's real far out. But maybe look at a current a forecast, NAM forecast sounding for this weekend to see about if there's any chances of some lake effect. Actually, NAM doesn't go out that far. GFS, I'm not a fan of their forecast soundings, but we could take a quick look here. The GFS soundings to me always look like there's such a wet bias. That's 0Z Friday. So 0Z Sunday. Yeah, it looks like doesn't really look favorable for lake effect. Only thing is, because we have this inversion area. Only thing is the wind shear doesn't look like there's much shear, but we could, again, this is for really far out, so the validity of this is probably close to zero. But yeah, just based off of the cold air advection and the warm lake and the cold snap, we could definitely maybe see some lake effect showers this weekend, maybe even some lake effect snow or some snow showers in northern parts of northern New York, where it could potentially be cold enough. So this is weather forecaster Eric Drewitz signing off. Have a great day.